system.
This is a video about standby. By standby we mean the electricity used by appliances when they're not turned on. There was a recent report from the Energy Saving Trust which actually is based on measurements from 211 householders, measuring how much electricity was used by appliances in those houses that were left on standby. And the figures were much higher than previously estimated. It came to between £50 and £86 a year. The average householder is wasting on energy with appliances which are turned off. And basically that's about 10% of household electricity bills. This is a really good example of standby in practice. Here's a radio cassette player. It's not turned on at all, there's no lights on it. But if you plug it into the wall using a socket which tells you how much electricity this gadget is using, it's actually using 1.1 watts at the moment. Even without it being turned on, physically not turned on, it's using 1.1 watts. Now if I actually turn it on, the meter shows it's using 2.5 watts. So in practice, it's only using twice the power when it's on as what it's using when it's off. So most of the time it's off, it's actually using more electricity than when it's on. So basically this is a great waste of energy, just leaving it plugged into the wall. The only way to stop it is actually to turn off the switch at the wall. Then the power goes to zero. It's important to know in the house what appliances are actually using standby power and what appliances are not. For example, this microwave, if I plug it into this monitoring socket, it shows no watts. It's actually not taking any power on standby. And one way to perhaps understand it, any appliance which normally runs at 240 volts, that's heating appliances and things with motors, such as refrigerators, washing machines, dishwashers, microwaves, they don't have standby. They're running on 240 volts. The gadgets that have standby are more like electronic gadgets that have a transformer inside them that puts the power down to 12 volts. So that would be things like TVs, computers, radios, any type of electronics would normally have a standby loss. When you've identified standby in the house that's costing you quite a lot of money, the next issue is what you're going to do about it. One of my favourite gadgets for stopping standby is this little switch on the wall which we keep next to our light switch, and it's called Bye-Bye Standby. It costs about £20. We got it from PC World. You can get it from electricity companies' online shops. And basically it turns off appliances on standby remotely. And it does that by sending a signal to these little plugs. You get a set of switches and 4 different plugs. Wherever you plug into this, it's turned off at the wall by this gadget. For example, if I wanted to turn off the TV on standby, I just press this red TV light. If I want to turn it back on when I come into the room, I press the green light. It's also got an all button. I can turn off everything in the house at once by pressing this bottom button. I can put everything back on again by pressing this green button. So it's very, very flexible. We've had this for 5 years. It's got a small battery in it. We've never had to replace it. That's what I really like about it. It really is fit and forget, and it works really well. Another advantage of this standby button is that you can plug an extension lead into the receiver socket. So everything that's plugged into this extension lead is turned off automatically once you turn off the standby button on this switch. There's various other devices on the market as well which will stop standby on TVs, such as this power down, and this is a different type of power down. Both of these devices work with your TV remote control. So when you turn off the TV with the remote, it turns off the power at the wall, which stops standby. It's an important point to understand. Just turning off the TV itself won't stop standby. The switch has to be turned off at the wall, and this is what these devices do. They turn off the power to the TV at the wall. Another interesting thing about standby is that modern appliances, anything manufactured in the last 2 years, has got much, much lower standby than older appliances. For example, our TV has only got a 1 watt standby, and that's because of the European Eco Design Directive is forcing manufacturers to have less standby. But these older appliances, we've got a DVD player here, an old CD player, have got 11 watts of standby compared to 1 watt for the new appliance. I've gone round and checked using this plug how much electricity different appliances are using when they're on so-called standby. For example, our TV and that auxiliary equipment with the TV is using 11 watts. The computer, the printer, speakers with the computer using 12 watts. Radios 3.3 watts, laptop charger 0.8 watts. It comes to 25 watts, which is costing about £30 a year.